For most of the people who read this novel, I think the overwhelming quality, aside from the literary ones, is an atmosphere and a tone that just seeps into you, so you feel like you're part of a life that's true, that encompasses some really deep and profound aspects of being a human being. And it's in a way an overwhelming and hard to decipher novel, because it doesn't have an apparent quick storyline or plot to be pitched or whatever, but it's a fantastic experience to read it, and that's really what was the ambition of when transforming it into film.
I saw a script several years ago that wasn't very good, but I read the book, and the book was fantastic. And then different people were working on it for several years. And suddenly Hans Petter, whom I've been working with several times before, wrote a script that for the first time got close to the very soul of the book. And that was not just relating what was happening in the book. And I thought that Hans Petter, I'm very much a city boy, and Hans Petter is the man of the wilderness. He's the one who drags me out in the snow in minus 30 degrees in film after film, and he loves it. And he loves the Norwegian nature. So I thought that he would be the man to find the poetry in this book, which in some ways gives you, you think of Hamsun's Pan and that kind of nature presence when you read the book. And I knew that Hans Petter could do it. But I also wanted to play with Hans Petter again, because we get along even if it's cold.
For me, the landscape is one of the main characters. And what I did, I didn't want to have a landscape description, which very often are in novels, and it just... so I wanted everything that happened to be happening somewhere at this place. I think Hans Petter has succeeded in transferring that to film. It was very strange for me to watch the film.
In terms of how do you light a forest, how do you approach shooting in this landscape, which could look like Windows 95 and be quite boring, which was like the big fair. And very early on, I decided not to shoot skies. There's very little sky in this film. I wanted the mystery and the intimacy within the forest. Now, in terms of the sound design, a lot of that, of course, happens afterwards. And Gisle Tveito, who is the sound designer, and the composer Kaspar K, started collaborating with me already in July, before we were done shooting the film, because we wanted the sounds of the forest to be significant in the film. And we wanted not music that just describes, oh, here comes an emotional moment. We wanted the music to be springing out of something organic and human, so that you might hear felt like sticks falling, for instance. That's part of the music. But to make the transitions between music and the sound design to be almost impossible to decipher, that was a part of our ambition. And I think they've both done a fantastic job. So we're very proud of that sound mix. I think it's an exceptional piece of work, and it was only finished yesterday at 3 o'clock. So.
It was a really natural role to kind of fit into. And I developed a really good chemistry with all the actors that I worked with as well. And it became really easy for me to only focus on my work because of the, positive energy that was on set. So it was a really interesting experience for me.
It was important to have a good chemistry with Jon, and also to to make both of us feel safe with each other without saying anything. Because that's sort of often the space where you just start talking. And in this movie, there's a lot of just being there. We had to be able to just sit and eat and look at each other for quite some time without ever feeling insecure, which I do when I have eye contact with people. But of course, these two didn't. And we did a lot of the work was also just to be able to breathe in it. Usually it's sort of I've never been in a production where I have to just be as much as in this one, and it was a very it's a new experience in many ways, and it was a pleasant surprise actually. Yeah, and of course it helps to have Stellan's voiceover just sort of commenting on your thoughts and on your life. Every human being alive should sort of have that, because
That's a soundtrack.
it becomes really rich.
Everything becomes
means
meaningful.
something, yes.
Yeah.
Being around people who make you feel courageous is the greatest gift that you can have as a director. And I think when you are an actor, if you get thrown into deep water by somebody who's not willing to rescue you, it's horrifying. So part of the director's job when you say, well, take a giant leap, is also to go and say, didn't work this time, we'll try something different, for instance. Or you swim and it's splendid, you know.